Do we have any announcements we need to share this morning? How about joys and concerns?
I have a concern for Friends United meeting, who's going through some fairly significant financial shortages. And there will be a board meeting this coming weekend, and I'll be attending that. And so I would ask for your prayers for the Friends United meeting board and the good decision making that they're hoping to do.
Well, my joy is that Decatur won their homecoming football game, and my grandson, of course, performed at the halftime show. My concern is my mechanic is left-handed, and he has fractured a bone in his left hand, and so it's like not good. And then I have a friend, Chuck, who just had hip replacement, and I'm sure he could use our prayers, as well as his wife, who says he's not a very good patient.
Jonathan, I believe your mom has surgery this week. Is that correct?
Yes, on the 1st, she's having hip replacement surgery. So definitely appreciate keeping that in mind in your thoughts, your prayers.
Well, let's hold these things in our hearts and hold them before God. And out of the silence, Chip will speak to us this morning.
Good morning, friends. Thank you, Lynn. My message today is brought to you by Alfred Hitchcock and is entitled, Just Drink It Black. I'll explain. Troy and I have a lot of shows on TV that we really like, and we watch several series, but when they aren't on anymore, we watch old ones. We watch old series. At this time, we are watching Old Alfred Hitchcock Presents. There was a scene in one of the episodes where a man was asked if he wanted a cup of coffee, and he said yes, cream with 3 sugars. Troy said, "You know what your mother would tell him." Of course I did. I was trying to learn to drink coffee and always asked for cream and sugar. My mother said, "Do you want to make your life simple? Learn to drink it black." Turned out it was good advice, and I still drink my coffee black. And I said to Troy, that will be my message. I can do a message on simplicity. The scripture for today comes from Luke 12:15. Then he said to them, watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist of an abundance of possessions. Well, I don't know about you, but that one hit me right between the eyes. Every time I'm getting to write a message, I learn something about the Bible most of everything I know about the Bible comes from a movie, and a lot of times that's not right. And I also learned something about myself. Today's message is no exception. Today I was going to talk about a simplicity and how simple my life was. Oh, I'm always busy, but everything is pretty planned out. Up at 6 a.m., feeding the cats and the critters, taking Drake to school, coffee with Troy, walking Brandon's dogs, take or pick up Drake from band practice, dinner with Troy, and then I'm in bed asleep by 9 p.m. Now, I always never go out at night unless I have a board or a committee meeting or Drake is in a contest. My life is exciting enough. Compared to my life in the 70s, it is what you might call boring. In the late 60s, I was a chilled out hippie. But by the middle of the 70s, I had jumped into the disco era. I was going to dance classes, doing shows, went dancing at my favorite discos to the tune of ABBA and Donna Summers. I found this on the internet news feed and would like to share it. We're the last generation that grew up without internet and cell phones. We didn't realize how good we had it. So true. I see people out together today and everyone is on their cell phones. I have a cell phone that can do all kinds of things, but I only use it to text. Well, kind of text. I talk to it, so people that I text get strange messages. I take pictures, and of course, I talk to people on the phone. I could learn to do a lot more with my phone, but I don't want to. I got a new car this year. She can do all kinds of things, and everything is push button. I am sure that's great, but with so many things to push, I have a hard time remembering how to turn the windshield wiper on. Now I'd like to read a poem by Catherine, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but it's Pulsifer. And it's called Simple Living. Busy, rushed, hurried, buying, having, doing, words for the life of the living. This sometimes is something missing, technology and gadgets. Do we have more time? Are we happy? Where is the time? Time for reflection, time of playing, time for anticipation. Stop and living simply. See the beauty of the sunset, the sound of the wind, the feeling of the sunshine. Simple simplicity will allow us to see, allow us to feel, allow us to be free. My message today was to be about what a simple life I live, which is not what Quaker simplicity is about. I Googled the internet and this is what I found. The testimony of simplicity is a shorthanded description of actions generally taken by members of the Religious Society of Friends to testify or bear witness to their beliefs that a person ought to live a simple life in order to focus on what is most important and ignore what is the least important. The Religious Society of Friends believes that a person's spiritual life and character is more important than the quantity of goods he possesses or his monetary worth. They also believe that one should use one's resources, including money and time, deliberately in ways that are most likely to make life truly better for oneself and others. Simplicity to friends has generally been a reference to material possessions. Friends have often limited their possessions to what they need to live their lives rather than accumulate luxuries. The testimony is not just about the nature of one's material possessions, but rather also about one's attitude toward these material goods. And I also found this, the three aspects of testimony of simplicity. The testimony of simplicity revolves around three key elements: dress, speech, and material possessions. Okay, so my life may be simple and boring. I fail all three key elements of what friends call simplicity. Now, I try at times to dress simply, and I can do that if I work at it. Most of the time, I do not, and was told I might be the first Quaker to give a message wearing a dragon wearing a dragon shirt. Speech. In this day and age, I have learned to keep my mouth shut, and sometimes it's hard, even when my teeth are biting into my tongue. I overheard someone talking about me back in the day, and they said, "He opens his mouth and you never know what's going to fall out." And now the real killer diller, the last one, material possessions. Now, most of you know I have a lot of stuff, and I'm doing pretty well going through things. Dave asked me one Sunday when I was going to start decluttering my office. I hated to tell him that this is the most decluttered room in my house. So, someday my family will come over and wonder what happened to all the stuff. And yet, when my house is cleaned and every of the clutter and everything is in its place, I will still have way too much stuff. A friend that is helping me go through things told me when I finish cleaning up my house and everything is in order, it's still going to look like a flea market. Now, I really admire Zen Buddhists that find the joy and the beauty of one thing on a table. My thinking has always been, if you can see the tabletop, you need to add more stuff on top of it. Now, when I get something new, for example, my friend Harold gave me a beautiful paperweight. It looked beautiful on my desk. Now, my collective mind said, if one looks good, I bet three would look better. And before I knew it, I had too many. Though that's according to my family, I think I have just the right amount. Now, I always knew I had too much stuff. I have always thought about myself as a collector of beautiful things. And as a collector, I thought, when you collect things, you try to collect all of those things. You can't have too many of something if you collect them. Of course, I was wrong. Let's go back. Let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. When I was 9, we went on vacation to Yellowstone Park, Mount Rushmore, and Jackson Hole, Wyoming. While in Jackson Hole, we went to see a movie called Tea House of the August Moon. I loved that film, and I decided then and there I was Japanese. When we went to Mount Rushmore, I found 2 little glass fawns that were made in Japan. And my 9-year-old thinking was, I should start collecting things made in Japan. After all, I am Japanese. And to this day, I have never stopped. It never crossed my mind that you could get too much of something. Never. Also, at the age of 9, I saw a movie called Elephant Walk and saw Elizabeth Taylor for the first time. I became a fan and started collecting everything I could find about her. I bought a lot of movie magazines with her on the cover, and I made it my goal to see all her films. I have not stopped collecting Elizabeth Taylor memorabilia. Okay, so much of a problem that I could get myself in. How much of a problem could I get myself in? Well, a lot. Troy told me he has known me for 35 years and I've never gotten rid of anything. My collecting continued to become more widespread. Little did I know that I was sinning. Never crossed my mind. In fact, I really never thought about it until I started this message. And to make it worse, I love my things. That is a real no-no too. Now, another poem by Catherine. It's called Simple Things. Treasure the simple things life gives to us all. Don't always be waiting, otherwise you will fail. Stop and appreciate the small things every day. Take time to stop and smell the flowers on your way. Living a simple life can bring much joy. You don't need more. You don't need all the toys. If you find contentment with where you are, you will be happier than others by far. You see, living simple life allows you to see nature around you, the honeybee. You appreciate the beauty in the sky, and you are not trying to keep up with the other guy. Making time for relationships too, for they are important in all that you do. Family and friends made you who you are. Spend time with them, don't keep them afar. You see, at the end of the day, when you look back and can see what was important and what was the best, you'll find the simple things outdid the rest. I just wanted to let you know I still have the fawns that I got at Mount Rushmore. As we go into quiet times, I would like for you to think about if you're really living a simple life according to friends and what is found in the faith and practice. Do you practice the three aspects of the testimony of simplicity? I would like to close with another poem I found. I have no idea who wrote it. It's called Kindness Remains. Riches may fade, fame turn to dust, but kindness lives in hearts we trust. A gentle word, a caring deed can plant the hope that others need. The lesson found in giving away is love returns in brighter ways. Though all else ends when truth is clear, kindness lasts beyond the year. May the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you. And may the presence of God watch over you. For wherever you are, God is.
When I think of the testimony of simplicity, I think less in terms of what I have or don't have, and more in terms of what I think Jesus was talking about in Matthew, to seek first the realm of God and righteousness, and then let the needs fall into place. Less about having or possessing, unless that gets in the way of seeking the realm of God, but more in terms of where I place my heart's desire.
Some of us have been very fortunate to have examples of those mindsets and simplicity and having our minds in right order with what God calls us to do in our families. We've had those examples, and my grandparents, Barnett's grandparents, were quite helpful in teaching me the meaning of simplicity. Grandmother was so frugal, and I've told Dan many times about how she would take old worn out blue jeans and cut the backs off the legs and repair other blue jeans when they needed the fronts restored, especially people baling hay and lifting hay bales up over repeatedly. Needed new thighs in their jeans, and grandmother would always find ways to use what's good and left over what's good into making something old good again. But I was telling Dan just yesterday about the example that Florence Peery was, and the story she told at Quaker Quest about how she personalized this testimony and simplicity of herself, and how she would pack a lunch and take it with her when some friends went out to eat. And so I remember sitting beside her at the restaurants when we go out on Sundays, and Florence would get her little brown bag out and sit at the table with us and enjoy the fellowship while eating the sandwich she brought from home. And at Quaker Quest, she explained why she did that, and she said it was so that she could use the money she didn't spend in the restaurant to help someone who needed it more than she did. And so just what a great example of how practical we can be in application of the simple lifestyle. That's it.
It's that time when some of us need to leave and go other places. We wish you well and look forward to seeing you next week. The rest of us will continue on in worship.
Thank you, Lynn and Chip.
Thanks, Lynn and Chip.
If all hearts are clear, we can bring worship to a close today. Thank you, Chip, for your thought-provoking words. Appreciate it.
I feel bad. I have so much stuff.
I always have to wonder, do I own it or does it own me?
Yep.
Some
There,
of
I
you,
think
enjoyed that message.
there, I think is the key.
yeah,
Do I own it, or does it own me? And is it something that is helpful in my spiritual life or otherwise?
right.
So, anyway, thank you, Chip and Lynn. Jonathan?
You're welcome. Good to see everybody. Have a good week.
Take
Bye.
Bye-bye.